Welcome in, Cowboys Nation, to Cowboy Game Day live here at Walk On. Shouts out to Cowboys Experience and Triple Dog Irish Whiskey. The Cowboys get the dub, baby! Come on now, 41-35. I am not going to have a voice tomorrow, but we are here to cover it all.
Here we go!
A game. Here we go. We got the whole walk-ons over here screaming, here we go. It's hilarious, man. But, man, this game had all the excitement that we thought it would at halftime, right? We called this one, right? Dallas walks out here 41-35. They did the two things that were most important. Get the hell out of here with a victory. And it seems like most of their guys are intact health-wise. But, man, what a performance by Dak Prescott in this offense. And, honestly, for as crazy it was for this defense, they got the two most important stops that they needed at the end of the game, man. What a wild ride.
It was absolutely a wild ride. But what I loved about this, we talk so much. And first of all, I know that there was people, the national media, who was waiting for that opportunity to go, see, told you, right. The Cowboys, like they were like this.
It was in their draft. 100%.
It was in the draft. Like they were sitting there like, let me stretch out because tomorrow we're about to come out here and say, see, we elevated Dak Prescott and we elevated the Cowboys, and Dak Prescott's in the MVP category. But what happens when he has to face a team above 500? What happens when he has to face a team? Adversity, all those things. And sure enough, he came through in the clutch, making the necessary plays. I do have a little dig at Cowboy fans. I do have a little dig at them, and it's not.
I'm interested.
And my thing is this: is that because I got so much heat from Cowboy fans talking about, well, the other teams get lucky. That other team that we play in our division gets lucky a lot, and sometimes
you need luck.
Sometimes when you do the right things and you put yourself in a position, opportunity presents itself.
They say luck is when opportunity meets, or when
preparation meets opportunity.
Sure.
Right? And so just be easy when you say that, because you had an opportunity tonight where there were some open plays and guys dropped passes and gave you opportunities, but you capitalized on them. And that's what you want to see in these type of games. We said it in the pregame show. Third game in 12 days.
Tough one.
The bye week is right there. Guys are wore down, and this defense looked wore down. They looked tired. They looked exhausted, but they kept fighting. Deron Bland did not have a great night.
No.
Did not have a great night at all. Made a play on the interception, undercut it behind the pass that Geno Smith threw. But these are championship-level games where you just find a way to win. Because at the end of the day, no one's going to go back and say, well, you played like this, and this if you win it all. They're going to go back and go, there was a game that they had to win against Seattle, and they figured out a way to win. They didn't play well. They didn't have all their things working for them, but they found a way to win. And this is what you want to see, especially at this time of the year, Scott. Your team peaking, your team finding a way to win. You know, and this defense, they didn't play well. This wasn't a defense that played well.
They played bad.
They played bad.
Let's just call it what it was.
But it made timely stops.
Yes.
That's what you want from your football team. You want to say, even when we are not at our best, can our best players, can our best coaches, can we dial it up and make a play in the most critical moments in the game? And the Cowboys did that in the fourth quarter and got out of here with a 6-point victory.
The defense, all it needed to do was give the ball back to 4. This game was, you talk about signature wins. This was a signature win for the season to date. Now, there's going to be more games where they're going to play these tough teams and these things are going to come up. Everybody wanted to see what happens when the defense is bad for Dak Prescott. What happens when penalties are 15 penalties or whatever it was for the Cowboys? What happens when he needs to go out and outscore somebody? What happens when the run game is not there? What happens when the pass blocking, you get sacked 4 or 5 times and pressured all night? Check. And Dak was checkmate today. 29 for 41, 299, 3 touchdowns, and the critical extra the 2-point conversion at the end of the game. He kept making play after play, even when 88, who he didn't have his best game today, but he still finished with 12 receptions for $116.
He had a damn good game, though.
He had a damn good game.
He had some drops. He had
some critical drops.
Yeah.
And if we go to more criticizing, if I get to that point, which I'm still trying to make sure I give for his credit, because this was a fantastic game by him. And it was one of those games where you said, okay, we're going to need you tonight to win it. And it's going to happen. Like, this is going to happen multiple times in the season where hey, I need my cue to go win this game. It may not look like it because of the opponents you were playing, but you were really getting out these leads because your cue was just dealing it. But he didn't have the pressure to go out there and, hey, we got to score because our defense can't stop nobody.
Yeah.
He had that pressure every single time, and he answered every single time. And yes, CD with a couple drops, but he answered as well with it. Shouts out to Jake Ferguson. Oh, my goodness, 6 receptions, 77 yards, and he had the first down all in their head and just seeing with the celebration.
Yeah.
Jake is him as well. I think he's a top 10 tight end in this league. Brandon Cooks with a touchdown. CeeDee Lamb with a touchdown. Your big three. This is what I was going to get at during the game. When it mattered most, I was looking for Dak to look for his big three. And when it mattered most, he was looking for CeeDee Lamb. And CeeDee Lamb did deliver, much like the defense. Not a great performance consistently, but when they needed it, CeeDee Lamb came through with the clutch.
Yeah, that's what you want, man. Like that, the old saying is big time players make big time plays in big time situations. And the big three did that tremendously, and for Dak Prescott, for all the criticism that he takes, for all of the heat that he takes, most teams in the National Football League, not most, all teams in the National Football League will look towards their quarterback to win them 2 to 3 games a year. And what I mean by that, I mean their quarterbacks put the game on their back and say, I'm going to go out here and overcome whatever deficiencies that we may have, whatever negativity may be going on in the game. Because I'm going to be honest with you. We talked about this last year sometimes. Mike was glitching today.
That's what I was about to get to.
Mike McCarthy was glitching today, and sometimes you just need your quarterback to overcome some of the glitching that may happen in the game. So a ton of credit goes to Dak Prescott in this football game, being able to shelter the load and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to take us to victory. I'm going to carry us across the finish line. And he did that on many, many plays in this football game. But he's right, getting the ball to his big three. And while the running game wasn't robust and it wasn't a dominant, there were some runs by Tony Pollard that were some tough runs.
Oh, yeah.
That was some pile-moving runs for Tony Pollard. And at times you need that in the football game.
This is one of those games where you might look at the box score and it says 20 for 68 for Tony Pollard for 3.4, but those were very important 3.4 yards per carry. You know what I mean? And then it was Dak Prescott chipping in with 23 where he hit him with the You know what's funny? And look, this is why I'm impressed with this victory offensively, how they moved or how they dialed it up. That is a tough secondary, and you saw it. They did not make anything easy. 21 was hitting. Woolen was in everybody's shirt. Now flags was flying all over the place, but that secondary did not make it easy. And I was tweeting or texting, I think it was Vach earlier, like, hey man, we're not getting anything easy, so we got to take advantage of it when we get on that side of the field. But I love the energy that your core four. I call Dak, Tony Pollard, CeeDee Lamb, Jake Ferguson, and his 5 really, and Cooks. You're going to need your guys to step up. This isn't the game. We saw them target Michael Gallup late. We was like,
and we both looked at each other. We said,
like, no.
Get him out.
No.
Don't even look over there.
Your guys tonight were TP, Brandon Cooks, Jake, CD, and even Jalen Tober's one reception was a very clutch reception. And you want to talk about, again, I don't really care for the MVP thing, but people kept asking for the MVP moment. The getting out of that sack that Dak Prescott did to roll out and get the first down was a huge, huge play. But I do want to get to Mike McCarthy here in a second when I come out of this break, because we got to talk about the post-game show presented by BT Furnishings. And look, this is definitely a good day to go out there and get that Skywalker special. I'm telling you right now. It's your one-stop shop for your where they have to buy more, save more sale going on. I think they still have the Black Friday sale popping off right now, so you can get up to 75% off at BT Furnishings. But you can spend $999, you save $100. You spend $19.99, you save $300, and the Skywalker special is still popping. The reclining sofa, love seat, plus a free recliner. I wasn't sitting down in no recliner today. I barely have a dang on voice, but it is what it is. I think I deserve to go get me a recliner from keeping it to Bing. I'm just saying. So make sure you guys go holler at BT Furnishings. They got many different spots in Arlington, Dallas, Garland, Plano, or hit up btfurnishings.com to furnish every need in your home. Now, there were times where Freaky Mike felt like he was sitting on the recliner and he kind of forgot. Now, look, this is hindsight stuff. I get it. But I do want to walk through the moments, okay? There were 3 moments. Moment number 1, Cowboys go down, they score, they make it 26-28. He doesn't elect to go for the 2-point conversion, right?
Correct.
Kicks the field goal. I thought that was odd to me because if you kick the field goal here, well, if they go get a field goal, it's a touchdown game. If you miss it and they get a field goal, it's still a touchdown game.
Right.
So it was odd to me, but it is what it is. The second one, 4th and 2, right?
Mhm.
Yes, CeeDee Lamb caught the ball. I hate the call, by the way, though. I don't like sprint right on 4th and 2.
He should have caught the ball.
Yeah, he should have caught the ball. No, he should have caught the ball. But I think you only give yourself one option.
Right.
Sprint right. But put it on the money. CeeDee Lamb didn't catch it. But that wasn't the thought process was, well, why not get the 3 here to take the lead, mind you, after DeRon Bland. Some people, hey, go for it. The numbers say go for it. Okay. He didn't go for it. He didn't get it. That's 2 awkward decisions. End of the game.
Yeah.
1 minute and 43 left. 3rd and 3.
They have no timeouts.
They have no timeouts. And you elect to throw it?
Yeah, I didn't.
Your running back is averaging how much? How many yards?
3.2.
And how many yards did they need?
2, 3. 3. Yeah.
Run the ball. And guess what, Jesse? If you don't get it,
The clock runs.
the clock runs. So it was like, boy, McCarthy, you better hope they get this stop.
And even if you didn't get it that time, you maybe get a yard. Now it's 4th and 2. You know what I'm saying? Like you can just, I don't know. That was some weird. There was some weird stuff happening.
We call it glitch. We gave Kellen old glitch. This was really glitchy. But I'd imagine, and this is what I love about Mike. Mike will probably go back and say, I gotta be better in these situations, and we just hope it doesn't creep back up.
But see, that's been one of the criticisms.
That's his thing.
It's of the game management, and we're going to enjoy this victory and sit in this victory. But I'm always thinking in the back of my mind,
for sure,
when it's Philadelphia, when it's San Francisco, you know what I'm saying? When it's those teams that are the elite level of teams, you can't have those glitches. You see what I'm saying? Like you can't have those glitches because those teams may convert. They may turn it. They have the likelihood to take that and turn it into something, that's more that hurts your football team more. So it's like and it wasn't like you were rushed. You had time to think about this. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I could throw another one in there. The delay of game.
Yeah. No one called the time. Like Dak, you're looking at
I understand the thought. So, like you said, you gotta one in the game. You can't have 3 or 4 moments where, and I get it, hindsight 2020. I get it. You can say, well, the numbers say do this, do that. But there were 3 or 4 moments in this game where it was mind-boggling game management. And that was one of the things that would always pop up with him. And I'm hoping that they go back and they kind of clean this up, because I know that's one of the things that the other team gets credit for, is that in these moments, they're clockwork. Yeah. It's clockwork. Dallas needs to kind of be on that. But when they needed a touchdown, though, they were driving with Dak and McCarthy and Lamb. Those boys were moving like clockwork. And I think this game is more impressive to me, for the offense at the very least, than any of the blowouts. Seriously, than any of them. Maybe than any of them. Here's why: because there was pressure every time.
Every time.
It's totally different when Zach Wilson out there. We already up by 20. It's not even Matt Stafford. I don't know who the other dude was, and the score was already 38-3 by the time he got to the second half. This is different when your defense is struggling the way it's struggling. But I'd imagine on that sideline, Dak said, "I got y'all. I just need one stop."
I saw a clip earlier the week, and it was an impressive clip to me. And I texted to my group with Hanging with the Boys, and it was that Philadelphia game against their last
Bills?
opponent, against the Bills. And there was a moment in that game, and I'm going to be interested to see if we had one of those moments. There was a moment in that game where Brandon Graham is going to trying to block the field goal, but he's saying like, y'all don't know we got Jalen. We got Jalen.
Yeah.
And I sent that, and I was like, I believe Dak is that. Like I believe that while I may not heard it in a clip, I'm like the belief that the 12-year most senior player on that football team believed in their quarterback. I believe that this team did the same thing. I believe that defense looked over there and said, boy, as bad as we played today, boy, as many plays as we've been giving up, as cheeks have we been today, if we get Ford the ball back, if we get him the ball back,
I know we good.
Yeah. And I felt like that was one of those moments today that Dak Prescott was like, I got y'all. You get me the rock back, I'm gonna make sure we go on to do that. And that's you want to be you want to be in that elite category. You want to be spoken about amongst the best, amongst the top tier quarterbacks in the league. It's in these moments. Yeah. The blowouts are cool and those are fine. And when teams are inferior to you, that's what's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
But it's in these moments right here when things all around you are not going good, when things all around you are not as you want them to be. You're on that third game in 12 days. You're tired, you're battered, you're bruised, and it doesn't seem like guys can kind of, as Sid would say, the curl didn't quite curl all the way over. It's, can I look to you? Can I look to the foremost important player on my football team, the leader, the captain?
Let's be honest, the best player on your team.
The best player on your team, the most important player on your football. Can I look to you in these moments to deliver? And I can tell you, as someone who's been in the locker room, that level of confidence when your guy comes through, the level of confidence for him goes through the roof. Yeah. Not that you didn't believe in him, but it's something about
it's different when you feel it.
Yeah, when it's happening, you like, oh snap, like, oh, he dealing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, let's and that creates this level, and it creates this atmosphere amongst the team that it's to never die, never quit. That we can trust in him. That if we just do our job, we just make one play, we just get him the ball back, that everything's going to be all right. Right? It's like this is the guy that we can trust. And say whatever you want, about the past in this moment today, because we're going to live in this moment. We're going to enjoy this moment. In this moment today, 4 was given the football and said, carry us.
Yep.
He was given the football and said, lead us. He was given the football and say, deliver us from all of the mistakes that we've made today.
Wow.
And he did it. And he did it. And that goes, for me,
in the chat for Jesse, please.
That goes a long way. Not only for your own football team, for your own football team's confidence, but that also kind of looks out there and the league goes, oh, snap.
Mm-hmm.
Is he putting it together?
They can't say anything after tonight.
You know what I'm saying? And that's coming off the heels, and I was really impressed about this. Coming off the heels of, you hear Aaron Rodgers speak so glowingly of Dak Prescott earlier this week on one of the network shows. That just doesn't happen, right? Especially from a kind of a quirky guy like Aaron Rodgers, who doesn't have to talk about anybody if he didn't want to.
They didn't even ask him about Dak in that manner.
Right.
He came out of his own way and said, hey, forget this Caden stuff. This dude dealing.
He's dealing, and you saw it tonight. You saw a dude who looked in complete control, and I'm going to be honest with you, I don't know if I've seen him this in control, this confident.
He said it. He said, this is the best I've ever felt.
It feels that way. It looks that way, and
it
feels that way. And that's something special.
Fam.
That's something special.
Even the passes that weren't caught.
Yeah.
The one in the end zone where they had to kick the field goal, where it looked like, man, what kind of throw? And then you're like, oh, wait a minute. That hit CD dead in the hands between 3 defenders was unbelievable.
That was crazy.
The pass interference, dime to CD Lamb 40 yards down the field. I mean, it's 4th and 2. Need to have it, put it right there. He was absolutely dealing tonight. And like you said, I got to fit. Again, they going to believe in their boy. They've always said it. But this is going to be something different, at least on the defense. Mm-hmm. Offense probably like, man, we know we do this every day. Defense going to be like,
thank you.
Thank you, number one. Number two, if we ain't on our game, you can do that? Okay.
But that's what the elites do.
True.
That's what now
you don't want them to have to do that 4 times in the playoffs, but you're going to need them to do that maybe 4 times in the season.
But even in the playoffs, it's like, you know what? Can you give us a series? Can you give us a half? You may have to do it a quarter. You may have to do a couple possessions. But, I go back and I just think about, we talk about and we put Patrick Mahomes in such high regard. Rightfully so.
Yeah, Pat's on a different tier, yeah.
But what I'm saying is that you see him do that. I remember Aaron Rodgers willing his football team on one leg.
All-time great, yeah.
Over the Cowboys. It was just like, yo, relax. I got this. I'm on one leg. It doesn't matter. We're going to win this football game. Like that, Drew Brees, Tom Brady. It's like, yo, okay, we good. You know what I'm saying? So, that level of confidence
we haven't seen that version. Well, I should say that version. He's been balling all year, but we haven't seen him get into this type of situation since Philly. Ironically, last year, remember that 40-34 game where hey, Dak, we're down by 10 points in the fourth quarter. We need you to go do it. And I think it escaped our memory because it hasn't needed to be have to happen this year, except one time. And it was the Eagles game where he had the opportunity. He got down there, but we didn't finish. So it's like, you lost to the 49ers, you got spanked. He didn't finish against the Eagles, and it's like, well, he can't do it. He's done this before. We just needed to be reminded when all else is going bad, can you deliver?
But can you deliver it finished? Like, that's the biggest thing.
Well, yeah, I'm sorry.
It's the finished part of it.
The finished part is within the delivery is what I'm getting at. Can you deliver and finish the game? He reminded folks that, yeah, he can do it. So, I mean, fantastic performance by Dak today. I think tonight, I think a lot of people are going to be talking about it. But I do want to go on the other side of the ball because the defense was not good. Right, no. The pass defense was the worst I've actually seen it since maybe 2020. It felt like. I mean, it felt like that type of year all over again.
It felt like the last time the Seahawks played us a couple years ago, where they was like they were marching all up and down the field.
18?
Something like it felt like whatever how long ago that was. We had the worst defense in the league.
2020. That was 2020. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, 2020.
Okay.
But what I wanted to get at was, again, when you needed to make a play, like you said, Dak, just make me one play. There were a handful of players that did that. DeMarcus Lawrence, 4th and 1, needed to have it. When people come at DeMarcus Lawrence, this is why he reminds you that, hey, I don't need to get 10 sacks. Look, if I get 6 to 8, I got 4 other dudes that'll get 10 that has the ability to get 10. I got a Micah that'll get 18. So DeMarcus Lawrence made a huge 4th and 1 stop. Cowboys go down. I believe they scored, 3 points on that after that. Jordan Lewis. Today wasn't the day they was picking on Jay Lou. Jay Lou had 2 pass breakups in the game, really 3. But he stepped up when he needed to step up. It was Deron Bland who was kind of getting torched, but Deron Bland with the interception. I know the Cowboys didn't get points, but it stopped them from getting points.
Possession that they took away.
The secondary struggled tonight, but Jordan Lewis, I mean, if we're going to call him out when he's not playing well, you have to give him credit when he's making plays, and he made a huge play, huge on 3rd down in that last series for the potential go-ahead touchdown for the Seattle Seahawks. And then, of course, the Lion, Micah Parsons, didn't record a sack. I don't even think they got sacked at all. The pressure was there, but again, shots out, and I did not believe this would be the case, but shots out to Shane Waldron and shots out to Geno Smith for dealing with the pressure well and Waldron for dialing up a good game. But when we talk about 4. Who's the 4 on the other side?
11.
When we need a play, I was sitting there screaming, I need one play, Micah. One play. He made the play to win the game for you on the defensive side of the ball. So, D-Law with the 4th and 1, J. Lou with the critical pass breakups, Deron Bland with the pick, even though this, again, not a great game for DB. He's going to need this rest. But then Micah Parsons, it might not register as a sack, but that was the biggest pressure of the season so far this season.
No, you're absolutely right. And for that side of the ball, we were kind of on different sides of the fence when it came to how do you want to play this game?
Okay, so why didn't they record Micah with the sack in here? They said that Geno Smith got sacked 0 times. Oh, no. The trip was a throwaway.
It was a throwaway.
Yeah, the trip was a throwaway. There were no sacks. He threw it away.
What was I saying?
I'm sorry. My bad.
I forgot what I was saying.
No, we were kind of talking about the defense and Micah having to make that play at the end of the game.
Sure.
He's the 4 of that side of the ball, and the young Lion just came to perform in that critical moment.
You and I were on the opposite sides of the fence on what style of defense they should play in the second half, right? It was like, hey, maybe you should go to more zone, or maybe you should go to man.
I don't know what they were.
But in that moment, it was like, you know what? Let's go what we go with. Let's dial up. Yeah. Let's dial this thing up. And let them get after it. And I'll go back and I'll watch closely. But there was a point in time where you see Micah look over to the sideline.
He said no,
and he's like shaking somebody off.
I wonder what that was the play. The end of the game. I want to know what that was.
I don't know what it was about. Like, I don't know if he like heard the call and was like, nah. Or they had him doing something else, and he was like, "Nah, I'm going." I don't know what that was.
In my head, I was thinking, I wonder if they called some type of like
stunt, and he
was like, "No, I'm working this tackle."
Yeah.
Remember, I said, "Oh, this bull rush is working on this drive. Right. Just keep getting at it." And Micah looked over, and was like,
"Nah, I don't know." I don't know what that was. I don't know who it was towards. But there was something that was like he was like shaking the catcher off. Pitcher's like, "Nah, listen, I'm giving. Here's what I got." He I don't care if he knows what's coming. I'm throwing his heater, and if he hits it over the wall, great. But if he don't, we gonna win this game.
And let me say this, CT. I've been looking in the chat. Y'all know I barely look in the chat, at the end of the games. But this was key. Dan Quinn moving Gilly and Deron Bland. He had him kind of following. Remember we were talking about that? And I think it was Vach who we had noticed at the beginning. He was like, hey, flipped him. He flipped him. And it helped both of them, really. First half, 107 yards for DK Metcalf. I think he might have had all 3 of their touchdowns. Did he have all 3 of their touchdowns?
He did have 3 touchdowns.
Boy, he went off.
Yeah.
If you had him in fantasy. But think about it. 107 yards in the first half, right. 27 in the second half.
Yep.
27. And Gilly was making some plays on that side of the ball. And then what happens when you took him off and you put Gilly on the other side? Gino said, okay, I'm going to go to where Bland's at because we're eating them. Well, guess what? Pick. Yeah. And so it helped out both of them. So that was a great adjustment. Mm-hmm. Did it completely fix everything in the second half? No. But these games come down to a handful of plays. And I think that decision will loom large moving forward.
Yeah, those are the gains within the game, right? Yep. It's these small, tiny adjustments that can make a huge impact in the outcome of a football game. And shout out to both of those players, right? For Stephon Gilmore to say, you know what, I can play the other side, because you have some guys that go, nah, coach, I'm a left corner, I'm a right corner. Yeah. I can't do this switching type thing. But a veteran like Stephon Gilmore, who's been around the block a time or two before, says, you know what? What's necessary? If it's necessary for me to go play on the right-hand side, I'll go play on the right-hand side.
Good point.
And for those two guys to be able to handle that type of situation, because when Deron Bland went to the left-hand side, the offensive right-hand side, he gets the interception. So it's like sometimes that can be an uncomfortable place to play in. And by the way, it kind of almost, like, now that I'm thinking about it, it almost kind of gives me like a foreshadowing beforehand. It's like, oh, so he can't play over there. So when Diggs comes back, we won't have this argument about what side he should play on.
Oh, no.
He'll just go play over there on the left and figure it all out. But again, for those two guys to be able to do that in the midst of the game,
that's facts,
right? And to even for a guy like Deron Bland to not have ego, because ego can get caught up in this thing and go, nah, I'm good. Nah, I'm staying over here. For him to be like, you know what? If this is best for what we want to do, then I'll switch on this side and Stephon Gilmore go on the other side. And for the most part, it kind of put a little bit of a damper on the day that DK Metcalf was having in the field.
Yeah. And one of the things about cornerback position is, as you know, you have to have the ability to forget. And I kept saying it throughout the game with you, like, one thing I like about Deron is that he can forget. Now, he's getting worked. That was tough, but we need him to make a play. And Deron stepped up and made that play. And another thing excellent point about the switching sides and not having the ego and things like that. Deron Bland played a lot of nickel. And in nickel, what are you doing?
Both sides.
You're moving, right? Gilly been in this league, like you said, forever. So it's nothing for Gilly to move around. But for them to have that wherewithal to say, hey, let's make this quick adjustment, see how it works out, and then we'll lean into it. They leaned all the way into it, and it helped at least shut down DK as best you can between the 20s. Once they got into the red zone, they kind of just bing, bing, bing. But, phenomenal job out of D stepping up when they needed to, and the offense saying, I got y'all today. Yeah. And so that, in the worst way possible, was complimentary football. We don't want to see it that way, but at least they stepped up for each other when they needed to. And hopefully this is something they can harness in regards to say, look, I got you.
Yeah.
And move forward, because it doesn't get easier next week.
Yeah, no, that is the epitome and the definition of team ball.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like brotherhood. When my boy is down, I pick him up. When things are not going right, I'll pick up the slack. And you saw that today, because there's been times when the defense earlier in the year where the offense just quite wasn't, where it needed to be. And the defense was playing lights out, getting the ball back to the offense in short fields and stuff like that until they fixed their red zone issues and their whatever it was at the beginning of the year. You know what I'm saying? So you're right. So perfect example of complimentary football
in the worst way.
In the worst way. Like, so, hey, listen, complimentary nonetheless.
Nonetheless, exactly, man. This is the BT Furnishings post-game show. Cowboys get the dub 41-35. It'll be interesting to hear the conversation tomorrow, because I already know a lot. Just as much as people had the drafts of, they can't do this, they can't do that.
It's only the Seahawks.
The drafts are right underneath that. You know what those are? Oh, it was just
Seahawks.
They still ain't be the team with a winning record. They're gonna say 6-6 because they still ain't be the team. So I just need Dallas to block the noise. Cowboy fans, we can do what we want to do, but the Cowboys need to block the noise. Take this 10 days to get. What is this 10 days like after this 3 games?
So it's not 10 days. Like, They go back to practice next week.
Well,
you know
what I
saying?
mean is they don't play a game.
Right,
in 10
yeah.
days.
No. This week is, and I was gonna say that when you got finished. Get away from football. Like this is a chance to get away from the game. Like literally clear your mind, let your body rejuvenate. This is a bye for you. This is for whatever it's worth. This is another bye for you.
It's a mini
so,
bye for sure. Yeah.
You know, so and I'm probably sure if you saw the post game, coach was like, "See you on Monday." So you take Friday, Saturday, and Sunday off, and you report back on Monday, ready to go, and understanding what you have in front of you.
Yeah.
It's super important for these guys to get off their feet. If you need rehab, if you need treatment, whatever that is, attack that. But just take a moment to go, you know what?
Yeah,
boy,
we just did 3 and 12.
We did 3 and 12. Like that ain't. I don't give a damn who they played. You played football, right? Like it was fender benders happening in those 3 games.
Yeah, man.
It was hitting, it was tackling, it was running, it was jumping, it was all of those things. It was the mental, physical, emotional hurdle through all of that. So go take a little bit of a break, get away from the game. I know I probably shouldn't say this, but say this anyway. Put some condoms on, players, because y'all the raw dogging bunch over there. Y'all the raw dogs over there. Y'all
Boy, half the team is
half the team
pregnant.
got babies coming. Half, like, legitimately. They having a contest on what side of the ball can produce the most babies.
We were texting each other like, bro, are they competing?
They gotta be competing. They gotta be, but get away from the game. Like, get away from the game, enjoy it, relax, enjoy the fruits of your labor. Like, at this point in time, you're 9 and 3.
9 and 3.
You're 9 and 3.
You put the pressure now on those 2 teams that's playing on Sunday.
Yeah, you're 9 and 3. You're right where you, for whatever's left of the season, right? You're right where you're supposed to be. If you're going to try to make a push towards whatever that is in front of you, division or standings or whatever, you did your part.
Yeah.
You won the game. So be able to just enjoy that. You worked extremely hard. 3 games in 12 days it's not an easy feat. It's not. I'm telling you from experience, it's not. These dudes are wore out. They are wore down. So go away, get away, stay out of trouble.
Yeah.
But just rest, man. Just rest, rejuvenate, man, and come back and understand what you have ahead of you.
Indeed, man. Rest and recovery. All right, Cowboys Nation, that's going to do it. I didn't even realize it's already 11:15, and again, my voice is starting to go. That's cool.
You got an early
I got
morning.
early flight tomorrow.
I do too. I'm working out tomorrow morning.
You out
5
too?
a.m. 5 a.m.
Whew. Better than me. I'm going to sleep on the plane. I'm out of here. But nonetheless, enjoy the victory as a fan as well. Get you some R&R. We get, for the second week in a row, we get a kickback on Sunday in the recliner.
We're R&R.
We're
R&R.
And chill, Cowboys Nation. So, parting shots, which really is a parting flex for our guy, Jesse Holley. Dallas gets the dub, baby. 41-35. We out of here live from Walk-Ons. This has been the post-game show brought to you by BT Furnishings. 41-35.
Let's go.